Hello, what's up, fam? It's your girl, Love. I know it's been a minute, but you know why it's been a minute? Because I've been in my genius zone, doing my thing. I have to always update our Agape Intelligence products, our AI products and services, and we have been working on our parent program that's a match for our AI youth program. So I'm really excited because we're going to be working with one of the school districts near where I live, and having to hire people that are great, not only with parents but with children and teenagers and tweens. So exciting times, exciting times. That's why you haven't seen me and whatever. Okay, but I'm just hanging out like with my boyfriend, husband, and I keep saying this, we are really going to talk about politics, but I really also want to keep having these conversations about parenting. What I know and I hear from parents all the time, and then I hear it on the other side from the teenagers, is that there is a real disconnect. And while parents love their kids and kids love their parents, that doesn't mean that we're communicating well and things like that. And I know I'm a mom. Yes, I am. And I have made bad choices like anybody else. I have not always been the best parent like anybody else, But I gotta tell you, I just can't stand it when people say, there is no book on how to parent. That is bullshit, okay? It's called child development. They even have classes on it. You can get a degree in it. There's child psychology. And so what I've done is I've made it a lot easier for you by developing AI Youth and AI Parent. And so one of the things that I want to do kind of on the regular is start giving you little tips and little wisdoms. Now, you all know I was raised originally for the first 8 years of my life by a Southern black woman, my grandmother. We called her Ma, and my grandfather. And she was very devoted to me. I was the only grandchild she had there at the time, and day in and day out, she cultivated who I was. She came to understand who I was, what I needed, and she cultivated what was great in me, and she disciplined what wasn't great in me. And for some reason in this day and time, we have a problem disciplining our children, and then we wonder why when they hit like 13, 14, 15, why we can't get them to do whatever, because we never taught them how to respect us. And if you don't teach your children how to respect you from basically infancy, because you have to live together. You're separate individuals, but you have to live together. If you don't teach your children how to respect, meaning the smallest things, like we couldn't go in somebody's house and be touching on their stuff. You better sit the hell down. Put your hands in your lap and not trip, okay? Because that was your ass. All right. You didn't go and embarrass my grandmother in the store at touching everything, picking up stuff. You've lost your mind. Not happening. On the other hand, my grandmother was very loving and kind, and she spent a lot of time, making sure that I felt good about myself and my surroundings, and that I felt safe. She didn't just let anybody in our house. For God knows she didn't. And she didn't just let me go play with anybody. Even though where we lived, which is an island off the coast of North Carolina, everybody on the island I was related to, but she knew what was going on in people's houses, and she didn't want me exposed to any and all things. So we tend to act in this day and time, just in general, I'm not saying everybody does, but we tend to act as if our young children, 2-3-year-olds, should be making decisions. Okay, so tip number one, this starts when they're babies. All right, I know if you already got teenagers, you can't go back, but I'm gonna help you with that later. But tip number one, when it's time to, like, let's say, wear a coat outside, Your 3-year-old doesn't get to decide that. Okay? Here's what I did. Okay? You got two choices. You either gonna wear this blue one or this black one. And really, most of the time, you didn't even get a choice. This is what you're wearing because it's cold. Okay? And any of that whining and tripping that 3-year-olds do, that's typical because that's where they are in their mental and physical development. I just was like, I said, this is what you're doing. And from very young, my children understood that there were consequences to behavior. There were consequences to having behavior in which you minded what I said, and then there were consequences to you deciding not to mind what I said. And being a black Southern woman, you don't get to disrespect me. Because if you don't teach your children how to respect you, the person that does the most for them, they have no reason to go out into the world and respect other people. And so we have to learn how to socialize our children from the beginning. Things that they can and they cannot do. You know? So that's your tip. Learning how to discipline and learning how to look at your children and learn about how they think and how they process information. That's important too, because a lot of us as parents, we look at our children as like accessories, like a ring or something that you can put on and put off. No, they have a brain, they have a mind, they have a personality, they have a temperament, and it's our job to learn who our children are. Just because we gave birth to them doesn't mean they're a carbon copy of us or they're a little adult. There's a reason why they're called children, and there's a reason why you're called a parent. That's right. They're two separate things. If they meant the same thing, then they'd be called the same thing. All right. Y'all know I love you. Back at it. Got to get back in my genius zone, but I had to check out on you guys. So that was your parenting tip for today. Love ya.